Today, we're giving you a full review of Secrets Moxché so you can see how it matches up with your vacation preferences.
In our last video, we took you through Impression Moxché by Secrets, the nicest all-inclusive resort we've ever seen. But in case you're new here, we're Andy and Jenna, better known as a couple travelers.
We've spent the last 5 years exploring the world, covering everything across theme parks, cruises, and resorts.
Secrets Moxché is the 11th all-inclusive resort we've been to, and over the years we've been lucky enough to see some truly incredible properties around the world. But is this our new favorite all-inclusive resort?
We're gonna answer that question in this video, talking about everything we loved about Secrets Moxché and the things that we didn't love about this resort. And a couple of things we wanted to note: we were given a couple of unique perks when we were on this trip. We were there for our baby moon, which was really exciting, and they did give us a complimentary upgrade from the Preferred Club Ocean View room that we booked to a Preferred Club Ocean Front room. So one room category up, which was very nice of the resort. And then we also did get access to Impression Moxché by Secrets for an afternoon with a member of Secrets so that we could show viewers like you this amazing property, but just did want to mention that we received those perks.
And that video about Impression is already out in the channel now, so that is linked in the video description below. So we're going to start off with the pros of Secrets Moxché and then get into the cons. And the first pro has to be the Preferred Club area and amenities. We've stayed at Preferred Club at Secrets Playa Blanca and Secrets Moxché, and we thought we loved the preferred areas at Playa Blanca, but Moxché really outdid themselves when they were designing this resort. The first thing we have to mention is the Observatory, which is the exclusive area for Preferred Club guests. It is a rooftop infinity pool and restaurant.
We spent a lot of time up there. Several breakfasts, we had lunch up there, lots of pool time. It was one of our favorite spots on the resort for sure, so we were definitely glad that we had access to it.
And we did a full walkthrough tour of Secrets Moxché, and this is actually the first area that we show you in the resort. So after this video, you can check that out. It's linked in the video description below. We also really liked that Preferred Club guests had access to a dedicated lounge. And this was really spacious. It was climate controlled. They had prepared food there when we arrived after getting there from the airport. And they had a full bar inside too. So it was a really nice, easy transition getting onto the resort. You know, sometimes the check-in process, depending on what resort, you have to be a little clunky, but this was very seamless, very well organized and comfortable too. And you'll notice that a lot of the Secrets resorts that are either newly built or renovated in the last 5 or so years are going to be having much more of these dedicated Preferred Club areas with, you know, their own pools, own bars. So if you are a fan of that, look at the newer Secrets resort, Playa Blanca and Moxché. We could speak to personally, but a lot of the other newer resorts in the portfolio too should have this available for guests.
The next thing we loved about this resort were the pools. We tend to always gravitate towards we're pool people versus beach people, and this is, I think I said at the resort, this is a pool lover's paradise because you have 7 options when you stay at Moxché. That is if you stay Preferred Club and you have the rooftop observatory pool. Otherwise you have 6 pools, but I mean, like, that's still a lot of pools. Yeah. Besides the observatory, which we mentioned and we love, they have an activity pool, which has like a swim up bar. They do lots of, you know, obviously activities throughout the day. That's where like music, that's usually one of the harder spots to get pool chairs. A lot of people gravitate there, but there's also 3 different cenote-style pools, which is really unique. There's the, what's the one we loved?
The Sugar Reef pool.
Sugar Reef pool, which is a little bit more of a quiet pool, and they have a swim up bar, but it was like a 10-second walk to the activity pool. So I liked that I could sit and read and have a quiet experience, but then when I wanted some vibes, just like pop over to the other pool.
That was the main area of the resort for people during the day because, and each pool has its own swim up bar, which is great too. So different vibes, but you know, that's kind of like the heart of the resort right there.
And the lagoon pool, which is like the star almost of the resort. Like when you see a photo of Secrets Moxché, you're most likely looking are overlooking the big lagoon pool, which I thought was so unique.
It was awesome.
And this pool doesn't have a swim up bar. It has a bar like right there, but it's huge. It's all different depths. So like you could be in a shallow area and then you could go to another area and it's like 12 feet deep type thing. So very, very unique.
And it had all of the amenities of what you would expect to have at a Secrets pool. So there was a pool concierge there and there were servers going around bringing you drinks from the bar that's there.
And the last thing about the pools that I want to mention, and this goes for just the beach in general too, what we loved about this resort is they do not allow you to reserve pool chairs. We've been to 3 Secrets resorts so far, and each one has had a different rule when it came to pool chairs. So it's good when you go to the resort, talk to your pool concierge on day 1 and learn what this resort is. But you do not need to get up early on your vacation at Moxché to reserve a pool chair because they don't allow it. You will only take a pool chair or a beach chair when you are physically sitting down and ready to use them. So there's no dropping off your bag and then going to breakfast or getting up in the morning, reserving a chair, grabbing a coffee, going back to your room for an hour and then having breakfast and then going to the pool chair. So it kind of took the pressure off. There was no, like rat race in the morning. It was, you can be out late to the club at night, sleep in, and when you're ready to grab your spot for the day, you still have options because people didn't reserve them and then are not using them.
The next thing we loved about Secrets Moxché is the service. And like Jenna said, this is the 3rd Secrets resort we've been to. We've also done tours and reviews of Secrets Akumal and Secrets Playa Blanca. And across the 3 Secrets resorts, the service has been outstanding. So here at Moxché, the service was just as good, if not better, than the other 2 Secrets we've been to. Just attention to detail, really making sure, especially when we're on a baby moon, that Jenna was in the shade
and hydrated.
Yeah, and hydrated with mocktails and had food. So just really, really attentive. And we just love the pool concierges and the beach concierges. They're just there to kind of help you have a great day wherever you're hanging out. And they'll even go to lengths, like when we were here at Moxché, they have these animals called coatis. It kind of looks like a raccoon, but they're native to Mexico. And at one point, it ran off with the guest's bag. And the guest was like, oh my God, where did my bag go? And so the pool concierges went chasing after it through the bushes to try to get the bag back.
And like digging in the dirt for her AirPods that had fallen out, and they found it. But
so talk about dedicated service, it doesn't get much better than that. So shout out to all of the amazing staff members at Secrets Moxché who helped us have a great baby moon. We really appreciate it.
The next thing we loved about this resort was the food. And I think Moxché is very much a foodie resort. So with this being our 3rd Secrets, I think we were expecting a lot of the same restaurants to be repeated.
Yeah.
Like when we went to Akumal and then shortly after went to Playa Blanca, a lot of the restaurants were the same name.
Yeah.
The menus would be a little bit varied, but it's, you knew what to expect and it was pretty similar. The only thing that was repeated from the other resorts we had been to was the buffet, the coffee shop, and the poolside lunch spot. All of the other restaurants were kind of brand new concepts and they had some really unique standouts. I mean, obviously they had a great Mexican restaurant, which we loved.
Yeah.
The Italian restaurant was fantastic, especially the wood-fired pizza.
As a born and raised New Yorker, best resort pizza I've ever had.
That was excellent.
Yeah.
Then they have Bizou, which is a French restaurant and award-winning. It has, I can never remember.
AAA 4-diamond rating.
There you go. That was excellent. And then they even had Bamboo, which was like vegan island cuisine. We went there for lunch. They had some non-vegan options, but it's like an Asian-y restaurant. I remember my coconut mushroom soup was so good, but they had like chicken pad thai and stuff. Really, really unique food at this resort.
An amazing location for Bamboo in particular. It's right on the lagoon pool, so some of the best views you're gonna have from restaurants at the resort.
We also loved how they had every night they had a pop-up taco stand. So that was really a great thing if you ever had to put your name in at a restaurant and had I know one night we had a bit of a long wait, so we just like went and got a taco to hold us over and sat and listened to some live music while we waited for our table to be called. So like that was great. And these aren't just basic tacos. These were like high quality tacos.
They know what they're doing, yeah.
I also want to shout out the breakfast at the rooftop observatory.
So good.
We went there 2 or 3 times because it was just excellent food. And then you have that view on top of it. And it was like quiet in the morning, but very surprised at how good that breakfast was. They even had a lot of Mexican dishes.
Chilaquiles were awesome.
And the servers were very helpful at making recommendations. Like they pointed out like these Mexican egg dishes that I never would have thought to order, and it was so good that I got it another morning. So that was definitely a highlight.
And Jenna mentioned the pop-up taco stands. They also had another pop-up experience called Roads Through Mexico. It happens once a week. And so they had these facades set up of all the different regions around Mexico. And basically the idea was that you would travel to these different regions and experience the variations of the local Mexican cuisine. So you go here and they had like churros, and like this area is really known for its fajitas, and like tacos over here, and just like the types of ingredients and the way it's prepared. We just love that about Secrets in particular. We really saw it at Akumal as well, just these kind of pop-up experiences. It reminded me a lot of Akumart at Akumal. And then Moxché also does on Friday nights, it seems to happen every week. They have asada, which is a beachside barbecue. And on the topic of the food, if you want to know about it in more detail, the next video out on the channel will be a full dining review of Secrets Moxché. We're going to go through in detail all the restaurants, talking about the dress code, generally when it's open, and talking a little bit more detail about the food as well. And while you're there, we already have a full walkthrough tour of the resort and a full tour of our oceanfront preferred club room out in the channel, in addition to that impression video we talked about earlier. So make sure you subscribe for more Secrets videos and all-inclusive resort videos coming soon.
And if you're thinking that you want to check out Secrets Moxché or the impression side, which we highly recommend, I did want to mention that I am a travel agent. I specialize in all-inclusive vacations, and I'd love to help you plan your trip. It is completely free to work with a travel agent, which you might not know. So if you're interested in receiving a no obligation quote, getting some more information about this resort, I will put my email address in the video description below.
So now we're going to get into the things that we didn't like so much about Secrets Moxché. And at the top, we just want to mention that some of this might seem a little bit nitpicky. However, our goal really as a couple travelers is to make sure you're being confident in the decisions that you're making about your vacation. So you have all the information you need. You feel like you've almost been to the resort through the tours. You're getting kind of the pros and cons from these reviews. So you could really pick the right destination for your vacation. You work hard for your PTO and your money, and you want to make sure that is used wisely. That is kind of the purposes of what we do here at A Couple Travelers, and especially these reviews.
And honestly, the thing we liked the least about the resort was some of the wait times that we had for dinner. We never waited for breakfast or for lunch. You could have a wait for Market Cafe, which is the buffet. We did see a line a time or two at like really popular times, and that essentially is because if you aren't staying preferred club, that's really your only breakfast option, unless you're ordering room service and staying in your room, or you're just grabbing like a pastry from the coffee shop. So that's like really your only like full breakfast option. But the buffet is huge and they have so many stations. So even if there is a line or a wait, it typically would go fast. So we were at Secrets Moxché for 6 nights, and we only actually had a wait for dinner on 2 of the 6 nights. So the other times we just walked up and got right into a restaurant. There are no reservations at Moxché. There's a couple of random one-offs, like hibachi specifically requires a reservation, but if you're just eating off the regular menu at the restaurant, you don't need a reservation. One night we waited 45 minutes for Bazou, which is the very popular French restaurant. Everybody like on resort warned us that they waited for Bazou, but it's very much worth it. So don't wait until you're hungry to put your name in. And they gave us a pager, and we went to the Italian restaurant next door and had a drink while we waited to be called. So I didn't even think 45 minutes was that bad. And again, they have the taco trucks.
Yeah, and it's understandable. That restaurant in particular was on the smaller side. I mean, maybe like 60 seats.
It was very small.
Their turnaround times are going to be a little slower.
And that's what probably the most popular restaurant because it's the AAA Four Diamond.
Right.
The other one, which was a little bit surprising, was for the steakhouse, which is called Ember. We put our name in, we didn't get any sort of like estimation, but we ended up waiting 90 minutes, which that was a little shocking. Like we didn't expect that at all. And that was like at the end of our trip. So we were just like, this is so different. I don't know if they were just like having a weird night or something, but thankfully there's like a lot going on at night. So like we went to sit out at Bamboo, overlooking the lagoon pool. They had live music. So, I mean, it went by pretty fast, but it was just like 90 minutes is a long time to wait for dinner. The other thing, we ordered room service several times. Breakfast usually came fast, but ordering like later in the day, I think we waited always more than what they said on the phone.
And not just like, you know, 15, 20 minutes, more like upwards of like 30 or 45 minutes more. It was a little bit different than what we've experienced room service wise at other Secrets. The next thing we didn't like about Secrets Moxché might have been specific as to when we were there. We noticed a lot more private groups and events here as opposed to at Akumal and Playa Blanca. And the one thing that kind of stood out to us in particular, there was one night that the private group rented out Sea Soul, which is the seafood restaurant right on the beach, and our room was pretty much a couple 100 feet away from it across the resort. And so it got to pretty late at night, and I guess as part of their activities for the evening, they had karaoke. And like, we're not ones to like bash on the fun.
No.
But I think when it gets to like 11 o'clock at night and you're drunkenly singing karaoke at a luxury all-inclusive resort, the vibes just aren't matching, right? And I think it was just a little surprising because this is arguably the most luxurious resort we've been to.
I agree, yeah.
And the vibe of the guests that were there and just kind of like how the staff conducted themselves to kind of carry that vibe through, to have that experience was very different from what we experienced at the resort. And again, have your fun, but maybe cap it to stop at like 7 p.m. or 8 p.m., not when people are trying to go to bed.
Because I know it like stopped at 11.
Yeah.
I don't even think it would have bothered me if it was just music being played.
Right.
It was the drunken, awful singing that was
obnoxious. Seeing that was a little bit different than what we've come to expect with Secrets. And it could go hand in hand with the fact that this is a later resort in terms of when the activities are. You have a dedicated sports bar, you have a dedicated nightclub. It could be a little bit more of a late night crowd in which the resort kind of understands that and is more accommodating for later events like that. But I think for where our room was located and the time of night it was going to, it just wasn't really sitting well with us.
And the thing to note too is all of the Secrets resorts are very group heavy. So this really can happen at any of the resorts. I think it's like just the timing of when we were there with that particular group who chose that particular activity. So just something to keep in mind. And the last thing I wanted to note, just again, this is very nitpicky, but we did go to the spa one morning. We went to the hydrotherapy circuit, which was great. You get one complimentary 50-minute circuit when you stay in a preferred club room, which is a really nice perk. It's a beautiful spa, for sure. I was a little bummed because I had pre-booked a long foot massage because it was one of like the only things I could do while pregnant, and I was like, you know, walking around the resort and I was like, oh, a foot massage would be lovely. So I had pre-booked this before we got to the resort, and after it was supposed to be right after the hydrotherapy circuit, and when it was time for that, they had miswritten down what time I had booked or something, and so they couldn't do it anymore, and they basically just wanted me to come back another day, but I didn't want to take, you know, we have a lot to film and do when we go to these resorts, so I didn't really have time to make another spa visit, so I just didn't get to do it. So that was just a bit of a bummer. Again, it's miscommunication. Stuff like this happens all the time. It's being nitpicky, but when we really didn't have a lot of cons. So we really had to think of something, which I think says a lot about the resort. And
on that note, we asked at the top of the video, is this our new favorite all-inclusive resort? And I think we have to say yes. Number 11 for us. We haven't really been to a bad resort across Secrets and Sandals, but Moxché was just different in so many ways that are good. I mean, I loved watching the cruise ships from Cozumel. There's just like so many.
Oh, that was so fun to see that, yeah.
There were so many cool things about this resort, so we really can't say enough good things about it. We're already talking about going back at some point in the future and do an impression because that was awesome. So again, a lot of other Secrets and Secrets Moxché videos out in the channel now. You can go check those out and subscribe for more videos coming soon.